Welcome back to Splendid Tales, where stories burn hotter than karma itself. Today's story, it's about a man who thought his badge made him God, until the real power showed up. Silver Ridge Lane was the kind of neighborhood that pretended to be perfect. White fences, green lawns, and whispers sharper than scissors. And right in the middle of it all was Maya Cole, 8 months pregnant, glowing, and kind enough to make even the mailman smile. She baked for everyone, waved at kids on bikes, but to Officer Brent Halverson, she was just another problem he had to control. Brent wasn't a real cop. He was an HOA enforcer with a fake badge and a bloated ego. He strutted around like the neighborhood was his kingdom, ticketing people for grass too long or curtains not neutral enough. Everyone hated him, but no one dared to challenge him. That afternoon, Maya was sweeping her porch when Brent pulled up, sunglasses glinting like he was in a movie no one wanted to watch. "You people never follow the rules," he sneered. Maya blinked, confused. "Excuse me?" He smirked. "You heard me. Don't make me fine you again." When she calmly said her husband would handle it, his pride cracked. He spat out a racial slur, shoved her hard, and her body hit the porch steps. The street went silent. If you're still watching, hit like, because what happens next will shake this whole neighborhood. Jason Cole had faced explosions, ambushes, and nights so cold they froze his breath into prayer. But nothing, compared to seeing his pregnant wife trembling on their couch, her eyes red, her hand on her belly. Maya barely whispered his name before tears took over. The bruise on her arm said the rest. Jason didn't yell, he didn't even blink. Years in the military had taught him that silence could be deadlier than rage. "You called the police?" he asked softly. Maya nodded. "They came, but they only took his statement." Jason let out a slow breath, the kind soldiers take right before a mission. They took the wrong one. That night, the so-called HOA officer bragged in a local bar, saying, "She fell on her own steps." Typical. Laughter followed. Ugly, hollow laughter. But across town, Jason sat at his desk, flipping through a dusty black notebook, the one filled with names of his old unit. Men who didn't ask questions, men who handled things. He made one call. "Reaper 1, it's Ghost," he said quietly. "Need a favor." The reply came instantly. "Say the word, brother." Jason closed the phone, kissed Maya's forehead, and whispered, "Rest. Tomorrow, things will change." Viewers, if you're watching this and you're feeling that slow burn in your chest, that mix of anger and respect, hit subscribe, because Jason isn't done yet. The next morning, Silver Ridge Estates looked the same. Clean lawns, nosy neighbors, and too many HOA violation signs. But something in the air felt different. Brent Halverson strutted down the sidewalk, sunglasses on, badge shining like fool's gold. Told her husband to watch his tone, he bragged to a couple trimming hedges. People like them always play the victim. He laughed, loud and sloppy, never noticing the black SUV parked 2 houses away, engine quietly humming. Inside that SUV, 3 men watched through tinted glass, all former soldiers, Jason's brothers from another battlefield. They weren't wearing uniforms, but the way they moved screamed discipline. "Got visual," one said. "Target's exactly how you described, loud, smug, and begging for karma." Jason didn't reply. He just sipped his coffee, calm as dawn, watching from his porch. Maya peeked through the curtains, whispering, "What are you doing, Jason?" He smiled faintly, gathering truth. By noon, a drone zipped silently over the cul-de-sac. Every word Brent said, every racial slur, every fabricated fine was captured crystal clear. Even the moment he took cash from an old white neighbor promising to keep the street clean. That single act turned gossip into evidence. Later that night, Jason's phone buzzed. "Got him on tape. You're gonna love this." Jason's eyes flickered. "Send it." Viewers, if you've ever seen arrogance build itself a throne, just wait, because the fall's about to be royal. By sunrise, Silver Ridge wasn't quiet anymore. The hum of engines echoed through the hills as black convoys rolled into the neighborhood, unmarked, powerful, and unstoppable. Neighbors peeked out, clutching their curtains. Brent Halverson stepped out in his robe, shouting, "What's going on here?" A calm voice replied through a loudspeaker, "Federal agents, step away from the house." His smirk died instantly. Jason stood at the end of the street, arms folded, watching justice approach in uniform. Brent's fake badge didn't shine so bright when the real ones arrived. "Officer Brent Halverson," an agent announced, "you're under arrest for assault, impersonating law enforcement, and extortion." The street gasped as Brent stumbled backward, tripping over the same porch steps where he'd shoved Maya. Talk about poetic balance. Cameras flashed, neighbors filmed, and the once feared HOA cop was dragged away, screaming about respect and authority. Jason wrapped an arm around Maya, who was now smiling through tears. "You didn't lift a finger," she whispered. "Didn't need to," he said softly. "Just pressed send." Later, Brent's mugshot went viral. His fine wiped out his savings, and the HOA board was dissolved. The same neighbors who'd stayed silent brought flowers to Maya's door. And that day, Silver Ridge learned that real power doesn't come from threats. It comes from truth, patience, and quiet strength. Viewers, if that karma hits sweet, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Splendid Tales, where justice always finds its way home. So tell me, which moment hit you hardest? The shove or the silence before the storm?